Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're in the world of Newcrest and we are building a 5x3 bedroom family home in more of a colonial Victorian style. I think the new expansion pack, Royalty and Legacy, really did inspire this particular build. But also there was some photos that I saw on Pinterest. There was one weekend where I just felt like building, and that's just what I committed to doing on a Saturday. And I built this entire house it was a day. It was probably about an 8-hour day. It is a longer video, I guess, than I would normally. Oh, it's about the same, but it is a larger build. I did speed it up quite a lot so that we didn't have to, watch a lot of the formulation of this shell. So what I really like about this is it's very reminiscent of the buildings that I used to do when I'd first started building. I loved something about a colonial it's symmetrical, wrong word, symmetrical build that I absolutely loved. And this was a very simplistic shape, but it turned out to be such a massive build. And the floor plan on this is one of my favorites that I've ever done. And yeah, so we used a lot of packs in this particular build. I think all the stonework comes from Life and Death. I really enjoy the stonework that came in that pack, and I guess it's just very close to like castles and whatnot. I at this point have not bought Royalty and Legacy. I'm not sure if I will purchase it. You'll have to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Have you been enjoying that pack? Is it something that I should be considering buying? I think what has turned me off a little bit with that pack is a lot of the assets are very heavily recycled, and I don't just mean inspired by it's directly recycled. Like it might be an end table that just doesn't have a basket, or it might be a sink that there's a towel added, and it's just I already have all those pieces. So to me, it's like, okay, I could already build something that is royal-esque with the packs I have. It literally, that's what it told me. And I think for the gameplay, it's not really something that I have an interest in. And I still haven't really played much with the last two expansion packs that I've purchased. So that being Adventure Awaits and what was the other one? Is it Life and Death? No, I feel like maybe Life and Death? No, surely there was another expansion pack I'm missing there. But yeah, no, I just feel, no, sorry, Enchanted by Nature. Yeah, no, I definitely haven't used that much either in terms of gameplay. So I do want to use what I have first, but also I think that I'm being very intentional with the packs that I buy. And, if I have an interest in it or I like the assets, I might buy it. There's a couple of kits that I've been eyeing off. I think kits are a little bit easier for me to like get my head around because they're not too expensive. But yeah, like even just the Castle Estate kit, I could, combined with what I already own, I reckon I could make some pretty castles if I wanted to. All right, so this is basically the shell of the home. And it's beautiful. I really love the front facade with the, the rounded balconies. And I just love that area. We are now moving more into the landscaping. So I did start with paint. I put the fencing down and I painted where I wanted all of the pathing to go. And then I also added in a carport to the side just because I had room. This I think is the largest lot in Newcrest. This is often a lot that I would build a community lot on, but obviously I decided to build a big home here. And I built this around the time where I had been building a lot of homes in this kind of style, this Victorian style, and I really want to build more in Tartosa. It has more of like a European vibe to it. And I think that if I wasn't to get the Royalty and Legacy pack, I could just build something very, reminiscent of that pack in that world. I reckon it would be quite good. there is a build I have in mind for, I think it's the Thebe estate. I think it's what it's called is the Thebe estate, which one of the dynasties in the new pack actually is the Thebe dynasty. So it's like, interesting. So yeah, I'm thinking about not like, I guess recreating that build, but in my own way. So maybe that will be something that I strive for. So along with that, I also added these beautiful flowered pieces in the front. You'll see that shortly. I'm just going in with these beautiful columns. These are what make it look very colonial. I love these columns. I think these are just base game ones. So in the end, I think the lower, I think it's life and death. From memory, it's life and death for the brickwork. All right, we are moving inside, and as you can see, it's very daunting right off the bat. It's very daunting to have such a large open space. And my biggest piece of advice is always start with your stairs. Now, I built this before we got the stair update, so I obviously have not changed the stairs in this particular build because I built this way before that update came out. And I am now just forming the left and the right side. So normally when I build a big build like this, I create wings. So one side will be, might be living areas and the other side might be bedrooms, or I might have, most of the time I'll have like a master bedroom downstairs, and then I will have, that be one side, and then maybe a study and a bathroom, and then downstairs, the other side to the, left or right, the other side would just simply be a living area. So yeah, I added an additional bump out. It kind of looked a little bit like a face, and it needed a little bit more focal detailing at the front. So I added in an additional bump out. And I think it's around this time that I add in the flowers. I loved these faux balconies pieces. These actually come from Jungle Adventure. They looked really nice. And I've used them a lot in my kind of like Italian inspired builds that you've seen on the channel that I've done. I've done a couple. I did a small villa last week. Not last week, sorry, last month around Valentine's Day. Around Valentine's Day, I did a small villa, and that is on the channel if you'd like to go back and watch it. But that I used the same kind of, it has the same vibe to the front. The flowers, the trestles, the trellises, and the balcony pieces. I've stuck with white, and I think that the other colors are either purple or red, and the red would have really stand out, and it would have been quite a focal piece, but I kind of like the muted look of the white. It's quite nice. I've used the Strangerville archways. I actually really like these. They're a little bit different to the ones I normally use, and I think that implies age to this particular build. I've used, a more of dated doors and windows, and I think that makes sense because the house is made of stone and it's just an older property. It's just giving that vibe that it's an older property. Speaking of the windows, I think these ones are either base game, and I think I use the ones from the Wedding Stories pack in the upstairs, the ones that have the shutters, I think. And yeah. All right, so we are inside and we are starting to decorate. So I'm starting with the entryway, and I've just put this beautiful rounded table that comes from Jungle Adventure, and then just a buffet table. This one comes from Cats and Dogs, and we are just loading it up with a ton of clutter, some books, a mirror. I've used a lot of the rugs that come from Businesses and Hobbies, Life and Death. I'm trying to think of what other rugs I use in this build. You'll see shortly. But yeah, I use a lot of those rugs. I just think the patterns have been spot on for what I'm looking for. Okay, this is the kind of like a hallway, kind of sitting room, kind of like just an area where you would come and, I guess, sit. It's not got really anything else in here. We've got a piano. It's got a couple of skill building items. It's not necessarily a living room, but I think I do change it around and make it more of a like living room, sitting room area. Okay, it's coming back to me. So through here, we then have the master bedroom. So this is the left side of the right side. right side of the build. And this has a living room, which we are now extending out to make it more of the size of a living room. And we've added in a fireplace, and I put the TV here, and I added in an additional couch. And so you've got your chess table, you've got a piano, you've got bookshelves. I think I might even add some children's stuff as well. But this is just a really beautiful, an easel, living room. So through that door, you then go into kind of like the master primary suite, where you have the bedroom, you have a ensuite, and you also have its own closet, just because I had the room for it. So I decided to include that in this build. So you'll see that shortly. I'm just adding in all the cushions onto these chairs. I love these couches. These come from Discover University, which was another pack that it kind of has that theme. So I feel like there's been like kind of like old estates, Victorian vibes in a lot of packs. So Get Together, Discover University, Base Game, Life and Death even has a little bit, but that's a little bit more of a Romanian feel as opposed to like British or European. But you can get that vibe across so many packs. So even though I don't necessarily have the new expansion pack, I feel like I'm still achieving that vibe with the packs that I do own, which is kind of nice. I, of course, put a laundry in this build. I just have the room for it. I feel like a lot of my larger builds, I always include a laundry room. Whether or not you guys play with laundry, I'm not sure. This build is available on the Sims 4 gallery. My gallery ID is Angela44. It is in the description below if you'd like. And yeah, you can download this build and play in it and do whatnot with it. Okay, so this is more when you wrap around to the back of the build. So obviously you go through that archway and you kind of have this back kind of mudroom area. From there you would enter the laundry, and then this is how you would kind of wrap around to the left side of the build, which my guess is the kitchen, dining, and whatnot. And there's a bathroom through there as well. So you've got a bathroom in there, and then I think a study through this door, and then I believe that would be the kitchen and dining. I think I also put in a bar in this particular build. It was a very spacious area. I put in an ottoman with a cushion. I definitely think this color scheme is more like oranges and browns and warm tones, which is quite good. Yes, so kitchen. So I tried to put in an island. I think I end up so I put in the kind of rounded pieces and I make the island a little bit smaller. I don't normally have such a big kitchen, but it is such a big build. And I think that this would be a perfect kitchen for somebody who is a chef maybe, or like maybe they host a lot of dinner parties, or maybe they run like a food stall and they, need to have all the appliances and, cooking and stuff. I've actually been playing in my personal gameplay. I've been playing a lot with the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack because I have never really played with it, and I've actually been enjoying it so much, and I just realized like how much space you need for all the appliances. So I think this would be the perfect type of kitchen for that. Put in a small bar area, and I love the use of all the curtains. These are from Wedding Stories, and they just add a bit of an elegance to the place. I do use a little bit of stuff from Horse Ranch just because I love how dated it looks. Yes, it has more of a rustic feel, but I like that it feels old and like antique and passed down. And I think that fits the vibe of the build quite nicely. I put in a coffee machine in this particular build, and I put in a tea set. Just think that it would fit quite well. I put in a mixer, a microwave, a dishwasher, because I feel like this would be a wealthy family. Like, I'm pretty sure this house is, I think it'd be like 180,000 simoleons, I think. It's quite expensive. It's not affordable at all. So, but, with cheats, you could quite easily obtain that. I put this weird divider thing. I don't really use it. So I thought, why not add it in? And it kind of fits that vibe. I'm hoping I do move that like upper cabinet over, there is a gap there, and it is messing with me seeing that little gap, so I do apologize. Oh, yep, it looks like I'm fixing it now. Yep, cool. And then I put in a range hood, and I should be putting in a backsplash. I use the one that I use a base game one. Yeah, this is the one that matches from the bathrooms in the build. And yeah, speaking of the bathrooms, we are in, I guess, the one bathroom that we will furnish. This is a downstairs bathroom, so this is just behind the stairs in that in that hallway that's across from the kitchen. Put in a shower tub combo, use like an older looking toilet, and I've just a lot of base game, a lot of get together, and I put the laundry baskets in the bathrooms only. I just find that it's easier to control the amount of laundry that your Sims have to do that way, and it's just easier to play with if that's something that you want to do. Okay, I think I may have lost some footage because I can see that the upstairs is already partly furnished. You can see I think it's a teens room or a master bedroom that looks like it's furnished there. You'll see that in the tour. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Maybe I lost some footage. I'm not sure. Anyway, but each bedroom is furnished in its own way. It has its own color scheme. This one's more of a greenish color scheme. The other one's more beige. And I think I've used a lot more rustic pieces. This is actually a base game bed paired with some side tables from Discover University. And I really like it. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on today's build. I have really enjoyed this build. It's a build that I would play in, and I think because it's so reminiscent to the builds I used to create, I just want to build so much more homes like this because I just find them so pretty, and they match kind of like my requirements for my personal gameplay. I play with larger families, so having, a big house is really good for that. Yeah, okay, so I'm trying to think so we've done, looks like there's been a bathroom that you can see just through there. Looks pretty spacious. And then I think this is a girl's room, child's room. And I think, is this the one potentially where, I think I did this where they're into horses or they're into pets maybe or something, animals. Oh, that's right. So I use this rug. This is the cutest rug. It comes from Enchanted by Nature. It's one of my favorite items. And I think I just made this room really blue and a little bit girly. I put in the unicorn imaginary friend in here. I've used my favorite wall decal, which has the owls on it. And I really like this room. A lot of animals. And yeah, I put the claw clip and used a blue and then just changed the curtains ever so slightly. All right, we are into the next room, which I think is another child's room. I think this room was more like nature inspired, kind of like camper, maybe they're into scouts kind of room. I love this bed that comes from Cats and Dogs with the patchwork on it. I think that it fits this style of home really nicely because, again, it gives that kind of dated antique vibe to the build, which is quite nice. I put in the Scouts board and I've got a Void Critter thing in here, which I think is quite cool. And I've used the little campers kit rug with the bears on it. It's so cute. And that kind of set the tone for the color scheme with the blues and the reds. I do think I used like a blue wallpaper in here, even though the other child's room also has a blue wallpaper, but I think it's a different shade, so it's not too bad. I'm just adding in a ton of clutter, and I love those beanbag chairs. They come from high school years, and I haven't used them in a really long time, and I was really excited to use them in this space. Okay, the final room is a infant's room. It's just like a little nursery. I think that it was one of those things where it's like it wasn't a massive room, so I just decided to do the standard pink and purple nursery that I do in every build, and you should not be surprised at this revelation, especially if you've been around for a while and you've seen a lot of my content. It's just a standard nursery. Not much to it. I added in this chair from Horse Ranch because I also wanted to pull a little bit of the blue, and I used that in another one of the bedrooms. Okay, so we are now on the front balcony, and it looks like I've used the paving that comes from Business and Hobbies, that kind of flowered paving. So I really like that. It's quite nice. It's different to a pathing. I've used just some seating areas, and I put another easel. And I think here I just do the same kind of thing, just more sitting areas, put some benches. And what else do I put out here? Yep. So I copied the kind of really elegant base game couches that were upstairs. If you can hear a dog barking, I apologize. It's my puppy. Well, he's not a puppy. He's nearly 4. So, but he'll always be a baby to me. I put in a pet bed, and then we are out to the back porch, and I can't remember what I put out here. But then I did at this point remember that I totally forgot to furnish the entire outside of the build. So I put in some rocking chairs, and I think we've got the fountain, and I think I just put some benches near the fountain. I'm putting some lights near all of the opening areas and some chimney trims. Oh, and we've got the carport. So at this stage, we've got the carport and we've got the backyard to furnish. Now, I never know what to put in these carports, so I've just kind of sectioned it as skill building stuff and like a faux gym. And you've also got the nectar press item. I could see the Sims in this particular build loving like wine and things like that. So I've put in some gardening plots and the nature press. No, that's not the item. It's a nectar making thing, barrel thing. Because I feel like gameplay wise, that's awesome. And I feel like they're the type of things that I like to use, but they're quite bulky. So, to have a build that has the space for that is quite useful. I put in a pool. It's not a massive pool, but I had the room for it, and I think that, it's quite nice. Decided to pave a little bit more, and then I've just kind of framed it with some landscaping. These are just some hydrangeas. I will say with the newer pack, I do like the new hydrangeas. So it's very tempting for me to get it because of that. I really like the new colors and just like the shapes of them. I think it's quite nice. But I do also see the Sims team incorporating that in another way potentially. So like, I don't know if I should pay for it. Okay, so anyway, putting some benches. These are from Romantic Garden Stuff. Next to the fountain. This fountain comes from, I think it comes from Wedding Stories actually. It's a lovely fountain. It's a really good size. I put in a clothesline and just some kid stuff. I put in some monkey bars. And I think that is it. So we are now live in game and we're going through the tour. So you walk in, you have your entryway, and you head through to the right side of the build into your living room, through to the master bedroom, which you then, through that archway, you have the closet. It's got a vanity and just some really nice space in there. You then have your own ensuite. You head back through down the hall to the back of the property, have kind of like a mudroom and a laundry area. You have the main downstairs bathroom. And then through the end of the hall, you have a study. Very basic in there, just not too much going on. And through the main archway, you have the dining, kitchen, entertainment area. You've got a bar. You've got some of the wine racks. Quite nice. You then go upstairs. You have your foyer area. You then head into the first bedroom, which is like a teens room. This is the one you didn't see decorate. It's quite nice in there. To the master bedroom and the upstairs bathroom. The first child's room. The second child's room. You'll have to let me know in the comment section down below which one's your favorite. I think my favorite is the bluish one, the first one. And then lastly, the nursery. And then you will head out onto the balcony. You have a beautiful sitting area with your easel so you can paint. And then we go outside. You have a entertainment area. You have a pool. You have this beautiful fountain, sitting area, gardening stuff. And then you have the carport, which has some more further skill building items. And that is the build today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this build as much as I did creating it, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.